All right, people. Here we go once again. You already know what time it is. This is the Bible Teaches Racism, Part 5. Now, I'm going to dedicate this part right here to the Great Queen June. Because the Great Queen June asked me about Pharaoh and the alleged captivity of the children of Israel, or the Hebrews, and how they had to be delivered from Pharaoh. So, this is why we're going to do part 5 on this particular topic, because we're going to show once again how this conversation is taking place, because Moses and his God is like they're conspiring on Pharaoh so they can prove to the Israelites that this God exists from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So once again, we're going to show what happens when they came to this land, because they was in a famine as usual, and now they have to be delivered from it. But Moses, he doesn't even know who this God is. He's just minding his business, watering the flock, and God started speaking to him. Let's check it out. Exodus chapter 3. It says, "Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian." Now Jethro is a priest in Midian. And we're gonna check out the Midianites later on, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. Now they say Horeb because that's the name of the mountain, but it's being called the mountain of God since that's where God allegedly appeared to Moses. Verse 2 says, "And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, but the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will not turn aside and see this great sight, while the bush is not burnt. And when the Lord saw that he turned the page, I need to turn. When the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called upon him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. All right, so now it says God called unto him from out the midst of the bush, saying, Moses, Moses. So he's hearing his voice coming from outside. And he said, Here I am. Verse 5 says, And he said, Draw not nigh, neither or near, but put off your shoes from your feet, for the place whereon you stand is holy ground. This is what God told him. Moreover, he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. Okay, so they saying this is God talking in the bush. This ain't an angel no more. This is God speaking with a capital G. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. 3 humans, 3 bloodlines. Abraham is the father of Isaac. Isaac is the father of Jacob. It don't say the God of the world. It don't say the God of the earth. It says the God of this father, son, and grandson. This is something that's in their family. It's a family religion. Verse 7 says, And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. And I come down to deliver them out of the hands of the Egyptians, and to bring them out of that land unto a good land, and a large, unto the land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites. See, Canaan, here you go again. He lost his land, so he first. The goal is to get to the land of Canaan, but they also going to take and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. These are nations that they're going to genocide on their way to Canaan by this God that spoke to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob didn't write no book. So this is a conversation that Moses is having with God when we're even reading in Genesis. Now, verse 10 says, Come now, therefore, and I will send you unto Pharaoh, that you may bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moses said unto God, Who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? Verse 12 says, And he said, Certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto you that I have sent you. When you have brought forth the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. And Moses said unto God, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, they shall say unto them, The God of your fathers has sent me unto you. They will say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto him? So Moses don't even know the name of God. And he's actually going to say his name further down. We'll get into that later. But verse 14 says, And God told Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shall you say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. And God said moreover unto Moses. Now once again, this conversation, Moses is talking to a burning bush right now. And he's hearing the voice come out of the bush. This isn't a dream. This isn't a vision. This isn't his heart. It's not feelings. He's saying that he's literally communicating with a burning bush, and he had to turn his head from it because he couldn't understand why the bush wasn't consumed by the fire. So it says, in the Lord God your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. All right. Now verse 16 tells you that this is still God talking to Moses. Go and gather the elders of Israel together and say unto them, The Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and have seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken or listen to your voice, and they shall come, you and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and you shall say unto him, The Lord God of the Hebrews has met with us. Now let us go, we beseech thee, or we ask you, 3 days' journey in the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. Verse 19 says, And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go. No, not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch forth out my hand. Now God said he has a hand. I will stretch forth out my hand, and I will smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that, he will let you go. And I will give his people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And it shall come to pass that when you go, you shall not go empty. This is where they come with taking the resources again and the wealth. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourn or live in her house, jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and raiment, and you shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and you shall spoil the Egyptians, or take their wealth. And Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, The Lord has not appeared unto you. And the Lord said unto him, What is in thy hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from it. Now they saying that the stick became a snake. A stick became a living organism, and this is proof that this is God. That's witchcraft right there. And the Lord said unto Moses, Put forth your hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. that they may believe the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has appeared unto you? And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put your hand